Listen, I don't know what it is right now in your current situation that you might be going through. But what you got to be willing to understand at this time is God sees you. He knows every thought that you're having. He knows everything that you're up against. And he wants you to know at this time you must be confident knowing that he's going to fight on your behalf. God sees everything that people are saying about you. He knows the ways in which you want to be delivered. He knows the addictions that you're battling. And he knows what you can be afraid of. What you got to understand, at this time period in your life, you must walk in full transparency with God. What does that mean? You have to allow yourself to know that every thought that I have, that everything that I'm facing, that everything that I'm doing must be given over to God. Why? Because God is your Redeemer. See, I made a status today that says, you have God, you'll be okay. And that's the message for today. Because you have God, you will always be okay. But if you as a person get to a point in your life in which you feel as if God can't understand you, you put yourself at a disadvantage in which blocks you from God's alignment. Because you got to understand God does things greater than what we can fathom. God settles, God doesn't settle correction. God views things from above, not below. You got to understand with God, you have to be required to level up your mentality, which means as a man thinketh, so is he. If you're thinking low, what are you going to expect God to allow you to have? Helplessness, loneliness, frustration, agony, pain, depression, anxiety. But if you give God those things, you give God your addictions, you give God those frustrations, you will allow yourself to be greater. And when you allow yourself to be greater, God will show you that you have the power to overcome all these things. But you can't be afraid to face what's bothering you. You can't be afraid to address what's hurting you. You can't be afraid to face the afflictions that you have allowed yourself to walk into. You got to understand God is building up your story. Your story is going to be your testimony. And your testimony will stand the test of time when you walk boldly and confidently in God. So know that because you have God, you will always be okay. In Jesus' name, peace.